Elder Scrolls, I imagine it's gonna be yeah. It's gonna take us like 2 hours, but we're gonna aim for an hour, and at worst it should be 2 hours. But let me do the stopwatch. It's the third episode, right?
Yes. And Ami, before we start, let's get this out of the way. Are you a fan of like adventuring?
What do you mean adventuring?
Do you like to be an adventurer?
In real life?
No, in general, like in games, in real life.
In games, yeah, but in real life, no.
Okay, wait a second.
He likes to adventure down to the fridge.
No. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
God damn it. That was like a war crime. You're gonna have to be tried in Hague.
That's what millennial dad jokes are gonna be like.
Hey. At least it's a good cold open.
Fuck. Yes, it's another shitty podcast. Yes, it's another shitty podcast. Yes, it's another shitty podcast.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of the third season of YASP, short for Yet Another Shitty Podcast. And as has been the ritual this season, we're joined here by yet another new guest. But before we go... Could you just let me talk? As per use, there's the co-host Ali. No one gives a shit about you, Ali. And I'm Amir Reza, and we are joined here by a very good friend of mine from Ireland that goes by the name of JD. JD, it's an honor, and we're glad to have you here. So if there's anything you want to say to us about yourself,
I mean, to be honest, it's an honor for you to be here with us. But
okay. So I'm JD. You know, I'm Amir's friend from Ireland. So I'm here today to talk to my good friend Amir and Ollie about what made me really discover how much of a geek I am, and that is the Elder Scrolls. So
yeah, Elder Scrolls. So as JD said, we're gonna be talking about Elder Scrolls at length, and sadly I haven't really been engaged with the series yet. I will definitely after this episode, it's gonna give me incentive to just throw myself into the world of it. But I think it's time for Ali to start from the beginning, and then I think for most of this episode, you two are going to be talking. But if there's if at any time I have any 2 cents to drop, I'll just enter the conversation. So Ali, take the cue and do whatever you want with it.
Well, at the beginning, God said, "Let there be light," and then there was light, and then God said.
I'm sorry.
And then God said, "What is that piece of shit there?" And the angel says, "That's France." And
okay, so you were doing our French joke at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, because I really don't have anything French related to say about Elder Scrolls. Before we go on, let's do a round call. Ami, because you've played least from all three of us, which games have you played?
I have played Morrowind and Oblivion when I was a kid, literally when they had just come out. And I didn't even play them on my own computer. I played them on my cousin's computer. So I have backseater memories from those games, when he used to play them and I would just look at them on those old CRT, monitors. those beige and white keyboards and huge PCs with Pentium 3 and Pentium 4s, you know, back in the day.
That aesthetic so much, that like beige computer aesthetic.
Yeah. And I have played Skyrim only once on my 360 again back in the day. I think I was like 15. It's been like 11 years. Yeah, it's so when it had just come out, I played it once, and that's it. Like I haven't been involved in the like modding scene. I haven't really done anything with Skyrim, so I think that, and even the main story and quests and stuff, like a lot of it has to be brushed because I don't remember much. So, and as for the lore and the story and like the whole world of Elder Scrolls, again, I'm like don't really know anything. So it's just up to you guys to talk about them.
Okay.
Well, JD, how about you? Which games have you played?
Okay, so I'm a Zoomer. You know what I mean? Born a few months before George Bush changed the world. So yeah, no, my first Elder Scrolls game was playing Skyrim when it first came out in my next door neighbor's house, and then I got Oblivion. My dad got it for me at GameStop for my PlayStation 3, just so I could like test it out and see if I really like it. I just fell in love, man. Powered through Oblivion without leveling up at all because I didn't understand that you had to sleep to level up. So I completed the main quest.
Wow.
At level 1, so all I had was like iron armor the whole time. So that was an experience.
That actually can be useful later when we talk about some of the weaknesses of the Elder
of
Scrolls
Oblivion, yeah, and like
series.
yeah. But the one thing is, at least in my first experience, I didn't have to deal with those sponge enemies.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you over level. And then I got Skyrim, and I just fell even more in love. I became a staunch Stormcloak. You know, Skyrim for the Nords.
Wow.
I know you guys don't like
Wow.
stars on here, but I just can't help myself. You know, we need the gray skins out of Windhelm. You know what I mean?
Well,
They're
fuck
really,
off. You
they really.
racist
I
bastard.
mean, are the Dunmer not racist themselves? Like,
No.
what? Have you not played Morrowind? The moment you're off the boat, okay, Enwa, like you know what I mean?
Okay, wait a minute.
Outlander.
Morrowind is like 100 years before Skyrim. Like the what was
Dude,
the mountain's
they had
name?
slaves. Like that, like what they did to Argonians was like horrific. But
Yeah, I agree. But you know the thing is that
okay, we can debate about Morrowind's
Oh,
politics. All right, like let's just power through this. So yeah, no, and then I finally seeing like how people were able to modify the game. I got my first like a PC per se. It was like a gaming laptop though. I had no idea what I was doing. So I got a laptop. I just fell even more in love being able to modify the game and stuff back in 2013, 2014. You know, I got the Thomas the Tank Engine Dragon mods. You know, the classics.
Oh
Yeah. Who's that wrestler that they turned into a dragon in the game?
yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man, yeah, Randy Savage. Yeah, no. Man, the memories. And then I tried playing Morrowind when I was 15. When I booted up my old laptop again, but my Zoomer mind just couldn't comprehend. Like, you know, I couldn't enjoy how complex Morrowind was. You know what I mean? I didn't like how I couldn't run everywhere automatically. That I was missing when I was hitting things. You know, the dice roll mechanics. I just, you know, having my hand held throughout most of my gaming experience, being a Zoomer, right? 2001 baby, it kind of spoiled the experience for me. So I kind of went back into it, and I played it for the first time fully through with all the DLC and stuff, even some mods that like have the mainland Morrowind and stuff. And I just completely fell in love. It's my favorite Elder Scrolls game to play now. Yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah. it's really really changed my perspective on video games. I used to play things on easy mode all the time. I'd play, Jack of all trades on Skyrim, novice difficulty, so I could power through it and feel like a god. But the way Morrowind made you nothing at the beginning, and you have to make yourself a demigod in this sort of journey was just there's no beating it. It's just I fell in love with it, the Elder Scrolls again, playing Morrowind again. So I tried Arena and I tried what's the Elder Scrolls 2 called again? I keep forgetting. Daggerfall, right?
Daggerfall.
Yeah, and I just my Zoomer mind still can't cope with Arena and Daggerfall. Sorry, Todd. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
We're not
to
fans
Todd
of
Howard.
Todd here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's definitely
look,
not been great in recent years.
Yeah. Anytime you want to apologize to Todd Howard, just remember these 3 words: 16 times the detail.
Yeah. Wait, what's that referring? Is that referring to this 76?
Yes.
Yeah.
16 times the detail.
Dude, what
and
a disappointment!
For Fallout 4,
oh my god.
Yeah, even for Fallout 4, it just works.
It just works.
That's mostly a Steve Jobs thing to say, that it just works like magic,
Dude, Todd Howard is so corny, but what he did with Morrowind is I want the old Todd back, man. Oh my god.
Well, I understand. Before we go on and talk about the politics of Elder Scrolls,
yeah.
I also, the first game I played was Skyrim, and the first Elder Scrolls game I played was Skyrim back in 2012, I think. And the way my friend sold the game to me was okay. We've talked. I don't remember if I told this story or not. Skyrim, first of all, is my favorite game of all time. I know, fuck Witcher, but the way it was sold to me, my friend told me, it's like GTA, but you can go into every house.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a selling point.
Yeah, and so because of that, I started playing the game. I fell in love with the setting. I think I don't know how deep you went into it, JD. I for the time back in 2016, I was spending hours upon hours just watching video essays about Skyrim lore.
Same.
Lore.
Fudge Puppet, is that his name?
What? Fudge Muppet, yes.
Fudge Muppet. Dude, I love their videos.
And Mr. Rex was another one.
Yeah.
And then later Epic Nate 315, I think is the name. I don't remember. And I loved listening to the lore of the Elder Scrolls. And it kind of saddens me that Bethesda turned out to be like a piece of shit publisher. But anyways, after that, I played Oblivion. I'm not gonna lie, going from Skyrim to Oblivion was very hard. The first time, I completely pissed out. I was like, nope, I can't deal with this. Then I powered through it. It's still not my favorite Elder Scrolls game. But after that, I played Morrowind, and I agree with you. Morrowind is a good game. The fact that it's so different from Skyrim, it felt like, it is a different game. Oblivion for me was like, this is worse Skyrim. This is Skyrim, but not as good. And by the way, you said that complex and missing features and all of that. I have a bit of an anecdote. It's not about Elder Scrolls, but I do get what you mean. It's about another game called Vampire the Masquerade Redemption.
I'm not familiar with that game. No.
Oh, it's an old RPG from the year 2000, and it's almost as old as you, I think.
Yeah. Oh, if it's from 2000, it's older than me actually. Yeah, I'm 21, so.
Okay. Damn, young people.
Yeah, Zoomers, am I right?
Yeah, we are
Fortnite and And TikTok, am I right, guys?
I'm like on the very line. I don't like, by some estimates I'm a millennial, like I'm the last millennial kind of. By some others I'm a zoomer. So I'm like right at
You're
that line.
97, right? Or 96?
Yeah. Early
97?
97. Yeah.
Okay,
What about you, Amir? You're 26.
I'm 95. I'm definitely millennial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely millennial.
I'm a
Like,
boomer now.
Ollie, I consider you the same generation as Amir. Like, I'd say you like probably be more like similar, like
No.
to.
He's a grumpy old man.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
That meme of Simpsons, old man yells at the sky.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Anyways, the thing I was gonna say is that for Vampire the Masquerade Redemption is an old game, and you have to click on enemies to hit them, and it is a randomized thing, which is one of the shittiest mechanics ever. That the fact that you can hit an enemy is based on an RNG. Fuck off, games. And I didn't know that if you click on an enemy and hold the mouse button down, your character will attack them automatically. So I just kept clicking over and over and over again. And yeah, the older games have that problem with them. You do need the manual. You can't go in without the manual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But before we go on, I haven't played Arena or Daggerfall. I asked you before we started recording. You said you just couldn't handle them.
Yeah.
Just in like a few sentences, tell us about the experience of playing these old ass games.
Okay, so I don't know, like I really liked the aesthetic of Daggerfall in particular. It was just I like sort of the huge open world, like randomized open world Arena had and stuff. I like the look of it, but I just couldn't get past those first two dungeons, man. Oh my god, like it was like my poor zoomer mind just couldn't handle it. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting my dopamine fix, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just it was kind of jarring, and I really hope I can go back and appreciate those games at a later date, but especially since like I've just upgraded my computer recently, I'm playing like an ultra modded playthrough on Skyrim right now. Wildlander, if any of you guys mod Skyrim, look into this Wabbajack mod that's called Wildlander. It turns Skyrim into as if not more, I'd say more complex than Morrowind in a lot of ways in the gameplay, which it was sort of lacking in vanilla. So yeah, like hopefully I can go back and appreciate those. But man, like this whole like you have to like for Arena you have to wave your mouse like it's a sword and stuff. Like I just like nah man. Like I couldn't.
Well, I do completely understand. I think I don't want Bethesda to be in charge of it because they will fuck it up. But I think these games need a remaster or complete remake.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Rockstar is anything to go by, I mean, or even Blizzard, those fucking assholes. It's not gonna be good, but
in what sense? You mean
actually, like speaking of Bethesda and remaster, I heard a rumor that they're remaking Fallout 1, but they're not going to make it a 3D game. They're not going to make it a 3D game. They're going to make it top down like it was, just like in an updated, like a new engine.
Really, that sounds like a big risk, to be honest. Given the
it's just a rumor though.
Like
it's a rumor. Like sometimes half the time these rumors aren't necessarily true.
Well, I mean, there are a few things to first consider. First of all, now Bethesda is under the same umbrella as Obsidian, which houses a few of the people who worked on Fallout 1. They were the ones who made Fallout New Vegas.
I love
the
Obsidian.
best.
Like they make
Yeah.
great games. So.
Yeah. And so I don't think if it's that much of a risk on part of them, because Fallout 1 is a massive cult hit, it still has a huge fandom. I'm just more worried that are they gonna fuck it up?
Yeah. Like
because
yeah, I get you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna finish the thought because Ami, you said in what sense? We've seen how Rockstar did with GTA Definitive Edition.
Oh yeah, but that was mostly thanks to Take-Two. I don't know if you've seen the CEO of Take-Two. Yeah, like the guy is like literally a parody of a shitty CEO that's just like in it for the money, like the ultimate form of douchebag.
They're
I'm
a
not
mobile
sure.
game studio as well. Like they're not
Yeah. Zynga is it called? So they're just like they literally are treating Take-Two as like I know every company is supposed to do that, to just work for the profits and money, but some companies I think take it a bit too far, and Take-Two has become one of those companies. They've just like they're literally lost their soul and like the reason they're doing this. So I think it's actually going to get worse and worse as time goes on. And even Rockstar has lost some of its, not some of its, like most of its founders, let's say, in like for GTA specifically. But we're not talking about that. One thing we do need to talk about, I think, as you touched on it, is the fact that all of these studios were bought by Microsoft, and I'm not sure if Microsoft has had a good track record of what they turn the studios they buy into. Like if we look at the studios they have bought, they didn't buy Bungie, but they kind of like bought the essence of it to create 343 studios, is it called? Yeah, the ones that are making like the new Halos, which are like, if you ask any Halo fan, if you ask any Halo fan, they're not like really satisfied with the end result. Like all the good Halos were the ones that were made by Bungie, and then they bought Rare, which is one of their oldest buying deals. Yeah, and like they turned Rare into nothing, let's say.
Kinect shit.
Yeah, and like the only game Rare has now is Sea of Thieves, which is not terrible, but like compared to what Rare could have been, I think it's like an insult.
And I got disconnected a bit, so we're talking about Microsoft. They fucking killed Lionshead.
Oh yeah, literally. Like look at the Fable series, look at even Gears of War, which is like their flagship game back in the day. Like there's no Halo in its like full glory anymore. There's no Gears of War, there's no, I don't know,
and now they have Bethesda and Activision.
Yeah.
And by the way, you were talking about that was Take-Two. I was gonna say that Bethesda is also have that abusive dad kind of situation, which is ZeniMax.
Well, yeah. But I think Phil Spencer.
And to be honest, the thing is that like even if you GTA Definitive Edition had that. Blizzard, those fucking abusive assholes, had Warcraft 3 Reforged Edition. Remember that?
Yeah, but I think I don't know.
I don't have any trust in Bethesda. Not after Elder Scrolls Online, which we will get to. Not after Fallout 76. Not after all of the stuff that they fucked up. And to be honest, part of the reason I'm not really that excited about the new Elder Scrolls 6, which I think is gonna take place in Hammerfell, apparently.
Yeah, I mean it's been officially introduced since E3 2017, was it? And because I remember distinctly the day it was like introduced and all the hype.
I hope it's still in the fourth era. Like I really want to see like the Thalmor and their kind of dynamic with the Red Guards and Hammerfell, because I know like if you guys know anything about like Hammerfell and like the timeline of Skyrim, they're actually going through like a war with the Thalmor, and that's why
Yeah.
when you go into Whiterun, there's those red guards looking for the red guard woman that's in the tavern, and
And the thing is that I don't really trust Bethesda anymore. Especially after fucking Blades. Remember Blades?
Nope.
No.
It's a mobile game.
Is it like a old Symbian OS mobile game or like one of the newer
Blades?
ones?
Yeah. I played that. Yeah, I played Blades. Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. I know.
It came out look, dude, after Skyrim, the only Elder Scrolls products they have was Online and Blades. And
so it's a recent game. All right.
oh yeah.
Okay.
And there was a card game which I don't remember at all.
Okay, card games are just like obscenely, brazenly, shamelessly money grab projects by every company. And like, I don't know if you read, but the Diablo Inferno, is it called? Like the new Diablo game that just dropped for
Immortal.
Immortal.
Yeah.
They literally have made it so that there is no way for you to, through playing the game, obtain certain items. And the only way you can get them is loot boxes, not even direct payment. So you just have to pay for loot boxes and hope that you get the item you're like aiming for. And by some estimates, you're gonna have to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to max out a character. So that's like the direction we're heading towards in the industry.
I literally watched a video by James Stephanie Sterling before like we started recording about that.
Yeah. So like I think these like in-game purchases, like these items and the cards and the introduction of the metaverse into the video game industry, and like the fact that video games are making more money than music, movies, and theater and all the other entertainment industries combined. I think we're gonna have to kind of start saying goodbye to fully made games, offline games that you could enjoy. Only a few of them are gonna remain, and that's thanks to Nintendo and PlayStation. Other than that, I think it's in the agenda of every company to kind of make it like in-game purchase oriented in some way, or at least like add a lot of DLCs to the mix.
Yeah.
And like looking at the background of, not background, like looking at the history, let's say, of a lot of these companies recently in 2010. Yeah, 2010 onwards. It's not, like the premonitions are not showing anything good, let's say.
And okay, funnily enough, you mentioned that. Do you know the first game who started selling DLCs that had only customizable items in it?
Oblivion, wasn't it, with the horse armor?
Yes, horse armor in Oblivion.
Yeah, so there you go. Like they're the forefathers of scamming players to make more money.
Exactly, and I agree with you. I think at the end of it, we will go to where the movies will be like a few good big budget movies, but then you have A24. You will go back to indie games. And to be honest, a lot of good games nowadays are indie games. So
yeah, but before we go on, I just want to ask both of you, what do you think? Because like still, it's a subsidiary of Xbox and Microsoft, like with their new acquisitions. Are you like trusting of Phil Spencer and his vision for the future of Xbox, given how he looks at Xbox, not as like a console making company anymore, but more as a service, let's say, and like they're introducing their streaming box instead of Xbox, like it's a really like baseline product that you only use the internet with to like stream video games, not play them locally using your hardware. And
nothing. You will eat the bugs, you will sleep in your pod, and you will own nothing.
Yeah, like the owning of nothing era.
I'm with JD on that. First of all, I don't trust Phil Spencer to tie my shoes.
Really?
Yeah. Phil Spencer is a CEO of a multi-billion dollar company.
Yeah,
multi-billion dollar company. If anything, Phil Spencer is for, it's not customer satisfaction.
But given how, like, if you remember, Xbox One, specifically the launch of it, was a complete disaster. And Xbox, during the 8th generation, I mean the previous generation, was like having a really, really bumpy road. Like, it was really close to just, not going bankrupt in the sense of like fucking up Microsoft, but going bankrupt in the sense of Microsoft giving up on their gaming ambitions. But then it was Phil Spencer that, like, through his planning and all of that. Like, I'm not trying to give the guy more credit than he deserves, but I am gonna say that if it was not for him, Xbox in this current generation would have tanked even harder than Xbox One. Like, if you remember, it was mandatory to buy the Kinect and Xbox were in the same package. You had to always be online. Like, it was a disaster. And like before before Activision Blizzard and Bethesda, like everyone was like, Xbox doesn't have any exclusives, they don't have any good studios, what are they gonna do? And like everyone was hyped for PlayStation, but like that acquisition was a game changer in my opinion. Like one of the biggest, not one of, like literally the biggest and most expensive like buyout of a company or a merger of companies, let's say. So I'm not like, I don't think that he's just like some CEO trying to make more buck. I think he does stand for something. At least he's trying to take Xbox out of that quagmire, let's say.
I agree with you, but the thing is that I think he's trying to drag Xbox out of that quagmire and make him the next monster. Like I'm not very I'm not very hopeful. Like now, Xbox Game Pass is a fantastic product right now.
Yeah. Like it's really dirt cheap.
Yeah, I don't think it will be the same 3 years from now, 4 years from now, even a decade from now. We will look back at this moment as, that's where it all started.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on if it becomes like if it starts dominating the market. Like if they get the upper hand, they are gonna like screw us all of us gamers. It's like a ruse. It's like a let's say Troy situation.
Yeah. And by the way, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, I'm glad that Bobby Kotick now has a boss, even though that doesn't change anything. The man is literally an abusive, sexist asshole, and nothing is going to change that. I'm not even going to say allegedly. He is. Like, come sue us, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, or is that your attempt at trying to raise our name through infamy, Ali?
No, I'm literally saying that if you're listening to this and are a fan of Activision Blizzard, know that the CEO of Activision Blizzard is a fucking abuser. Know what games you're supporting, basically.
Oh, like what do you mean by like? Sorry, I don't know much about him. So he's an abuser. Like, what do you mean by that? Like towards like women or something? Like, whoa.
Oh, dude, he literally threatened his assistant that he's gonna have her killed.
Okay, yeah, weirdo. Or like
interesting.
The like game development. I heard the working conditions in like game dev are actually like aren't that great. Like, you know what I mean? I heard like
oh yeah. I mean, Blizzard had that Cosby room. Do you know what that is?
Did you say Cosby room?
Yes.
Like Bill Cosby?
Yes.
What? Okay, I don't know what you mean by that Cosby room.
Okay, just look it up. It's horrific. It's very horrific.
And it pertains to Kotick?
Oh yeah, Kotick was the CEO there, and Kotick not only helped abusers, he was part of the Cosby room situation.
Okay.
Holy goddamn moly. I didn't know anything about that.
I'm gonna look into that, Dom.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty
that's messed
intense. Fuck.
Yeah, look up. There is a reason I'm always saying that when we always bring up Activision, I'm always so angry at them. Like, bad video games are one thing. You are allowed to make bad, shitty art, but you are not allowed to be a bad, shitty guy.
Yeah, true. But let's get back to
back to
Elder
the Elder
Scrolls.
Scrolls.
Yeah. So let's start with the first one that really sort of blew them up, Morrowind. Now, both me and JD seem to have gone to it after playing Skyrim and Oblivion.
No, I mean, I did, as I said, I did play it. Not personally.
No. I said me and JD. That was the next sentence. Amir, you're the one who played it at the time.
Yeah, I did play it at the time.
How was it? Like, go back to the brain of yourself in that age.
I actually I remember it distinctly because it's like one of those fond memories of I have. Not the game itself. I'm like the entire thing. I should say that even back then, the graphics didn't have a wow factor to them. You know, I think graphics have never been like the forte of Elder Scrolls series. But even back then, like the magic of these games is not in their graphics. It's in the art, you know, the world building, the stories, and even as a kid, it was a magical experience in the sense that I would just get lost in the game. Like I didn't know English almost at all. I wouldn't understand the story. I wouldn't understand what anything was, and playing that game as a really young kid, I didn't know how to manage inventories. I didn't really know how to upgrade or level up in any RPG elements. Like it was too sophisticated for my brain for a kid. But I had fun with it. But again, I didn't play it for that long. I played it on my cousin's computer for like a few hours in total. I mostly watched him play it, and it seemed really sophisticated to me, and I was perplexed most of the time. But I have fond memories. I really liked it.
I understand. Just a quick pause. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm home alone, and for a second I thought there was someone else in the house. So
maybe there was someone else in the house. Maybe you're gonna be murdered within the next 30 seconds.
No. I just went I just went and brought my camera into my room, so if someone else is in the house, they can at least steal my camera.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry for that.
It's fine.
Okay. So I agree with you that Elder Scrolls games are never, ever on the graphical cutting edge of the era.
Yeah, but I mean, through mods, you can do some really amazing things these days with them.
Oh yeah. We'll get to the modding community because that's actually part of the great thing and a problem with Elder Scrolls as a series.
I think with Bethesda, in the sense that almost everything they release is kind of broken and is up to the fans to fix.
And there's a lot of drama in the mod community as well. There's a lot of problems. Like you have like, I was talking to a moderator of this one Discord I was in for a mod pack, and he like brought me up to date with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of weird sort of mods that people have produced, and like people that have created some of the best mods for the game, like follower framework. This guy who made like a follower framework, he he had a hissy fit with Nexus. He removed it and put it on a website that had CP mods on it.
Holy!
Okay.
So
there's like a lot of like, man, there's a lot of drama in that community.
Yeah. But to be honest, the problem is that even Bethesda at some point decided to be a shitty company. I mean, nowadays it's believable, but back then we were also hopeful. Do you know about Creation Club?
Yeah, Creation Club. Yeah.
I mean, do you know about Creation Club?
No, I don't know about Creation
Club. It's when
Bethesda
decided to sell mods.
Yeah. Themselves. Mods,
yes.
Produced by fans. No, produced by fans.
Produced by fans. Basically, Bethesda
with their consent and knowledge, or without
yes,
it?
Yes, they're paid to do it. They're paid to do it.
They're paid to do it. But the problem is, with the modding community as big as, Skyrim, it made no sense.
Yeah.
Because Creation Club mods, basically, it's just that Creation Club every few months has like a drop. It's like, oh, new mods are coming. Come and play it.
Oh, there's a mud crab or armor. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It's just such shitty mods. And there are people out there making literal cities. Like there is a mod right now. It's a big project. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I love that. Oh my god, that's such a good mod. Such a good project. Shout out to Beyond Skyrim.
Definitely, if you are in a position to support that mod, people go and support that mod.
Beyond Skyrim, Sky Oblivion, Skywind, those like big projects, definitely look into them. Like they're rebuilding, they're building the entirety of. Have you seen the recent demos of like dude, like they're making Argonia, like Black Marsh. They're making Morrowind. They're making Elsewhere. They're making Cyrodiil, Hammerfell. They're making They're even making. I'm pretty sure they're making like parts of Akavir. Like it's like.
Yeah, they're literally making the whole Tamriel, which is
even
the
beyond
continent.
like Akavir. Like they're going into Akavir. I'm pretty sure. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, and these people are doing it not because of Todd Howard throwing them literal table scraps. It's because they love the game, and so the way Skyrim treats its modding community is both with hatred and love. It's like, you're like, okay, this is a little bit of an exaggeration. It's like a father who's like, well, why are you doing this for free? You can't get paid for it. Come on, let me sell your mods. And it's like, fuck you, Todd. Fuck you, Todd. How? And so, Morrowind, JD just, we saw how Amir felt when he was playing it. And you said you went back to it after the modding and all of that. Can talk about your experience with Morrowind.
Okay, so like I tried the first time and I really couldn't get into it. My Zoomer mind couldn't appreciate how complex it was. You know what I mean? It's like sort of like a child trying alcohol for the first time. Your dad gives you a sip of his beer and you're like, ugh. But you know what I mean? Like you get older.
That's the most Irish example you could give.
Give us. You take more and more sips and you're like, damn, this is actually better than that box of juice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, agree.
So that was my experience with it. I am Irish after all, so
I know, but I mean, also I think is a avid fan of beer.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of fruity cocktails, man. Like, Amir, like you know, like our friend Nate, right? And like how like He's obsessed with fruity cocktails.
Yeah.
He doesn't like alcohol, but like when he gets his hand on a fruity cocktail, hold on, 1 second. Anyways, this isn't a podcast about beer and boxes of juices and fruity cocktails. Right. So like I was saying, like I just fell in love, and I found a really good mod list. Look, like, do you guys you probably know about this, Ollie? You know OpenMW, the fan made engine for Morrowind?
Oh yeah. I haven't.
It's
I
unreal.
just know of it. I haven't done anything with it.
There's mod lists provided, I'm pretty sure, by the OpenMW people, and if it's not, they collab with them and stuff. I have like hundreds of mods for Morrowind to really make it more playable in this decade. 20 years later, fuck, 20 years, that game's out, crazy. But yeah, no, it just fell in love, man. Just starting off as just nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm a Dunmer. Coming back to my homeland after being in prison. No one sees me as Dunmer. I'm an outsider no matter where I go. Treated like shit no matter where I go. I need to run away from even little slugs that attack me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I have to walk super slowly to Balmora, right? And then you get into the Mages Guild and stuff, and I made my character slowly from that to a sort of novice spellcaster to a wizard, like a proper wizard, all the way to like a legendary sort of mage, and then a demigod through this really epic story. And the way you go from absolutely nothing to a literal god, it's alluded to, like, if you speak to Vivek, that you've achieved Chim, you know what I mean, which is sort of the reason why, the in-game reason why you can reload saves and stuff and heal really easily. But it's just unreal, and how you become power enough to literally slay gods like Dagoth Vivek, what's her name, Aleximia? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but
don't ask me.
In the Tribunal DLC.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be, because I've played Morrowind quite a long while ago. I need to get back to it. Do you see a Dwemer in Morrowind or not? Like, I remember one of the things.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you see a Dwemer that's been infected by Corpus. Corpus
one
disease.
Dwemer, the last Dwemer. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's sort of like cool. A neckbeard in that one mage's basement, right?
Yeah. That's to me, that was one of the, because Dwemer are a big deal for those.
It's such a mystery in Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly. And then it literally felt like going to a prequel and think, oh, it's one of them.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I didn't feel the same thing for when Skyrim showed us the last white elf.
Oh yeah, the
Falmer.
Yeah, the Falmer, right? Yeah, to be honest, unreal. Yeah, the lore in Morrowind is just unparalleled. You have the living gods and stuff.
It's a great game. It really is a great game. But
oh yeah, just one question, Ollie. What house do you choose in the game?
Oh,
are you House Hualu, Redoran, or are you Telvanni Chad like myself?
To be honest, I knew who the Telvanni were because of the DLC in Skyrim.
Dragonborn, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I know these guys. I'm going to be one of them.
They're shitty people, though. They're horrible.
I know.
They allow murder. It's okay, if you have the power to murder this person, dude, we don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's all about power, and they're staunch supporters of slavery and stuff. But in terms of I love to role play. man. Like I love to role play in these games. So like I turned like my whole thing was like coming back and like accepting to be accepted and sort of like those like Hispanic people in America that are like Republicans.
Oh yeah.
They hate all undocumented immigrants and stuff. Like it's sort of like that. Like like my character was an outsider, and when he finally becomes accepted, he doesn't want anyone else to come in. He doesn't. You know what I mean? Now
There
he's
is
going
that.
around calling everyone, all the slaves, N-was and
Yeah.
outlanders. You know what I mean? When he sees an Imperial on the street on site, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
oh
I
man,
know.
I
I
love
know.
role playing in Morrowind as a
uh,
horrible Telvanni,
I'm
sort
with
of like
you.
a
I'm with
dictator.
you.
It's really good because I downloaded this mod. I really recommend this, guys. It really expands on the Telvanni. It's called Rise House of Telvanni. It's compatible with OpenMW, and it makes it so that you can become the leader of the Telvanni, and it expands the the Telvanni story afterwards, and how like people of the old sort of Telvanni apparatus, of the guy that you killed become the
Yeah.
the archmage of the Telvanni, and how they try and assassinate you because you're putting in your own sort of state apparatus. People that helped you along the way, you're putting them in positions of power, and the previous members don't really like it. It's just, man, like there's just no beating like the role playing experience in these games, especially Morrowind, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really with you on that. To be honest, after playing that, because the Talvani guy you meet in Dragonborn DLC isn't
He's
that
in
bad.
Morrowind. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Morrowind as well. Yeah.
So it was like he wasn't that bad of a guy. And then when you go back to that, and like after playing Morrowind, I went in Skyrim and I just killed that dude just out of spite. I was like, yeah, fuck you. And yeah, I completely agree. And Morrowind, for all of its faults, and there are many,
Oh yeah.
it really allows you to feel like you're part of that world and do the stuff that you want to do. It's something that I actually wished Skyrim had more of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing it lacked was choice. Other than whether you kill Vivek or not, that's the only real choice you get, isn't it? Which house you're a part of and whether you kill Vivek.
Yeah,
So, but
even
I didn't notice the lack of choice, though. I don't think it
yeah,
really needed
exactly.
all that much more
Be-
choice. They really worked what they had really well, I
You
think.
mentioned something about Oblivion. You said you didn't know how to level up,
Yeah, level up. Yeah,
and you finished the game like that. It's because after Morrowind, it seemed like they started doing that leveling up bullshit, which
yeah.
is the enemies level up with you.
Oh, I hate that, man. That's why
Yeah,
shout out to Skyrim Requiem. Great mod. It delevels the whole world, makes it more like Morrowind.
yeah,
Great mod.
which is like, first of all, in Skyrim, like when you get to level 100, 120, every dungeon just has Drago overload. Like you never see
Yeah, and they're all
anything else.
shouting you around, and
Yeah,
it's so unimmersive. You're just as powerful as you were in the beginning. It doesn't make any sense. You should be
yeah,
terrified at the beginning to even see
exactly,
a bandit.
exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
that, yeah, and that's what Morrowind did. I don't know who told them that this is a bad thing. I guess people got
It's
discouraged.
yeah, exactly. They wanted to appeal to a larger audience, and unfortunately, Ollie, we're never going to have a vanilla experience like that ever again.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a bad thing. And
but
like,
Skyrim Requiem, it's really made me realize the modding community really does have our back as gamers. I think um, in the future, Bethesda, hopefully they're allowed to do what they've been able to do in Skyrim, because they've really changed that game into something else. So like I said, with these Requiem mod packs and mod lists, you guys should definitely look into any mod list that has Requiem and these sort of survival mechanics. It really
yeah,
turns into Skyrim to the bastard child of Morrowind and
like
Minecraft. Unreal.
Exactly. But the thing is that I don't know why Bethesda doesn't learn from the modding community. Like, what is the problem? They say they love the modding community, and they should. Like, the modding community is literally fixing the broken ass games. But like, I love
unofficial
this.
patch. You still need an unofficial patch 10 years later. What's going on?
Yeah, and by the way, how the hell did you not learn from the fact that Fallout 3 had one of the most famous mods of Fallout 3? I mean, I don't know if you know this or not. Is one that helps you skip the opening.
Yeah, man, they really need to add alternative start. Like alternative start from Skyrim. That's such a great mod. It's unfortunate though that that's one thing. The creator of that mod, he's a bit of an asshole. Supposedly, he's a bit he refuses to cooperate with like modless creators, and he's like, you know what I mean. It's really unfortunate because a lot of like prodigies and a lot of things tend to be assholes. You know what I mean? Like it's like they get up their own ass. Like, dude, like come on, like, you know what I mean. It's such a pity because like that follower framework, that alternative start for Skyrim, those are two essential mods everyone should really have in their load order. But I don't have that in my load order, and even if I didn't have this mod list, I didn't have it, I wouldn't put it in because I'm not going to financially support someone that's supporting a website that has CP on it. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, because what you do is you financially support these they can buy games and stuff with like the points they receive through Nexus when you download the mods. So definitely like keep an eye out with these mod creators, see who you're really supporting, really support the really good mod creators. Like Ollie said, beyond Skyrim, like I said, Sky Oblivion, Skywind. For anyone that's listening,
if you're a fan of houses, Eleonora, I think I remember the name of the person correctly, has some great houses, like just houses overhauls. Which I highly recommend. I'm sorry I cut you off there, but
it's cool. Yeah. So like Skywind, like that's definitely a project that I'm really looking forward to. Is when we see like, because like they're really keeping it as true to the roots as they can within the Skyrim like updated engine and stuff. And like I really want to see like where that goes, and it'd be a lot more accessible to Zoomers like myself that get discouraged at the beginning.
I agree. And the thing is that if you remember, in Morrowind, you're just thrown into the game. Like there is no 10
I miss
minutes.
that so much.
Or in Oblivion, you literally make the character and then the main quest starts. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem with Skyrim. It's that opening 5 minutes. Like I've played Skyrim so many times. The first couple of times, it's fun.
Who are you?
Yeah, who
wake
are
up?
But by the 10th time, I've seen every little detail you put there. I saw. Like one of the details I didn't catch the first time because I was new to this whole world is General Tullius talking to the
Thalmor?
Aldmeri Dominion. I'm like, okay,
dude.
but after
they wanted to release Ulfric Stormcloak, right?
And like after the third time, I've seen everything. Just give me the fucking sword and let me go to the world. I don't need the 10-minute tutorial. It's video games, man.
Yeah, man. They really need to. That's the first mod I always download, is something that skips that intro. Unfortunately, alternate start isn't the only one. Like the mod pack I'm using, I don't know the name of it, but you can pick like a town where you start. Like you can pick like you start in like Whiterun or Windhelm, or you can start in the wilderness as like a Dunmer refugee fleeing Morrowind, going into women. I made a Dunmer character recently on Skyrim Requiem, and like this like dangerous journey from the border of Morrowind to Windhelm in a de-leveled Skyrim is crazy. Having to run away from all these trolls and bears and mages and bandits to get to Windhelm, and the moment you dare, a guard stops you and he's like, "Listen here, you filthy grayskin, we have your eye on you." it's like, man, like modders, like they really work wonders.
They made a
Yeah,
better
they
game
breathe
than what the
life.
first.
And
Yeah.
like yeah, I don't think that's in like the vanilla game, because I made a Breton and that's what I'm playing right now. I'm role playing as a reach man, like a bastard child of a silver blood. You know the silver bloods in Mario Kart?
Yeah, I know.
How they hate like the reach men, right? With a passion.
Yeah.
So mine's a bastard child of a reach woman, and you know how you inherit the race of your mother. So he's a Breton, right? Not a
Yeah,
Nord. But and like when he went at Windhelm, he gets stopped at the gate, and he's like, Breton, okay, we don't know if you're a reach man or not. We have your eye on you, you filthy savage. Like, it's just, oh man, like that's like the one thing I really like about the Elder Scrolls is the politics, and like you can see racial
Oh yeah.
tensions in the game,
Yeah, yeah.
and it sort of like reminds me of like, you know, real life. I used to live in the United States. You know, the way even in Europe, right? Like the way people view like, you know, refugees from like the Middle East, it's very similar to like how a lot of reactionaries in Europe view, not to get into real life politics, but people from the Middle East. It's like it's very similar, like, you know, keeping these people in slums and then like, you know, blaming them for being in the slums and like being super racist towards them and saying Skyrim's for the Nords, you know what I mean? Even
Yes,
though it's
exactly.
ironic because the Nords have been colonizing the northern part of like the northern and the like eastern part of Tamriel for centuries, you know what I mean? They're like
Okay.
imperialist bastards, and it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like Skyrim wasn't for the fucking Nords. It was for the Dwemer. It was for the White
yeah,
Elves,
man.
for
Yeah,
the
it's like
Falmer and
it's like
Dwemer.
all the irony. It's like it reminds me of like, you know, like the parallels between, and it's funny because Brexit happened after Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
The parallels between Brexit and Stormcloaks, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like you have like, okay, this Starland, we were here first, dude. Like you're a Nord, you haven't been here forever. What about the elves that were here before you? You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, in Britain, like these English nationalists, they've only been in the British Isles for a couple hundred years. You know, they kicked my people out of the British, that part of the British Isles. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like what? You you've been here for like what, like 5 centuries? Like, sorry, no, like almost a millennia, right? But like in terms of
Yeah.
like, you know, the history of the British Isles, like they're relatively new to the British Isles, yet they're like they gatekeep the fuck out of it. It's like really like there's so
I
many
know, I
parallels
know,
there.
I know. Like one of the funniest jokes I think I remember. Mark Yaffe is a Native American comic,
Yeah.
and he said, "What name do you like we call you?" He said, "People ask me like Native American, Indian." He says, "How about original landowner?"
Yeah.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah,
So do you
funny.
think it's art imitates life or life imitates art, or both
It's.
going in?
I think in this case, it's more art imitating life
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Skyrim and the politics of Tamriel are very interesting, and I do love the lore behind it. But it is like incredibly
European.
not European. It's just that you can see the parallels quite clearly. Like it's not 2D, as JD said. Like basically, Imperial versus Stormcloak. It's literally the American Civil War. Do you want the slavers in the South, or do you want the liberators in the North?
Well, like I don't know, like there wasn't slavery involved there. Like it was like more.
I think
I think the politics behind it was more like Brexit. It was more like, you know, there's a lot of parallels. Like even like it has like some nobility in it in terms of like its parallels with Irish rebel history. You know what I mean? That's one thing I really
yeah,
noticed was it was
yeah,
it really, because we had like religious persecution here, very similar to like the Nords had with
yeah,
Talos
yeah,
worship.
yeah. With
So
Talos,
yeah,
like
so like that, like seeing that and like really like starting to get into touch with my Irish roots, because you know Skyrim came around the time I moved from America to Ireland. So like like I just had to be like a Nord, like Stormcloak. You know what I mean? To
well,
really
Fuck you.
appreciate that
Like,
parallel.
no, seriously, fuck you. Like, okay, I do understand the idea that you're forbidden us from worshipping Talos. Which, first of all, and I know this is like getting too nerdy, but
Oh, I love this,
That's
man. I
what we're
love
here
this.
for.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is what
That's
this
what
is
we're
all
here
about,
for.
right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
why I came here, right?
yeah.
Yeah, this
It's
is
not the
for the nerds,
Empire.
by the
Yeah,
nerds.
exactly. It's not the Empire who's forbidding people from worshipping Talos. It's the Ultimate Dominion. It's like part of the White Piece. Was it the White Piece? If I
The
remember
white gold
correctly.
concordant, yeah.
Yeah. White Gold Concord. Like,
Because
it's
that's the
part.
white gold tower, and like, ironically, it was actually the elves that built that white tower, white gold tower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is that, like, it's not like the part I don't understand. I do understand. I'm just saying, like, people who side with Stormcloaks. It's like that the Empire isn't a fan of Falmor either. I do understand they have to be beholden to them because they lost the war to them. But I don't think they are a fan of Falmor. Like, they're not part of the Falmor conspiracy, if you will. And
I think you can make the case that Ulfric is more closer to that Thalmor conspiracy when you go into the embassy and you like read the notes of like the tortures and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, he
And,
was an
like,
asset. Like he was an asset. They get indirect support, sort of like there's another parallel there, like sort of like obviously ISIS is a lot worse than the Stormcloaks. I believe, anyways. But like how like the Americans like indirectly funded like these like moderate rebels, quote unquote, and it turned out to be Timber Sycamore and ISIS and stuff. It was like
yeah,
that it's like the Aldmeri Dominion, the way that they indirectly fund like groups like that. It's like it really like reminds me of like America and like what
like,
they do to achieve their goals
okay,
with the
kind of forget.
PNAC.
Yeah. I kind of forget the group in the Markov, the underground one.
The Forsworn.
Forsworn, yeah. It's like literally like that, and funny because Ulfric was the one who fucked up the Forsworn.
Yeah.
It's literally the Afghanistan. You give a lot of money and guns and support to
Yeah. The Mujahideen. It's like
Mujahideen, and then Taliban is formed after that. It's like, yeah, what did you expect would happen?
Yeah, man. Like you give like these Nord radicals, like yeah, like that's like I don't know, but yeah, it's like the one thing I really like about Skyrim is the Civil War, how which side you pick really like how it influences the towns, right? If you pick the
Yeah,
Imperials, like Maven Blackbriar, like really, she always controlled Riften, right? But she like controls every aspect of it now. There's no
she becomes the
touching her
Jarl.
now. She's the Jarl
Yeah.
now.
To be
And
honest,
then
I kind of don't like the opposite of that. If you choose Stormcloaks, Balgruuf.
Downloads. Oh yeah, that's the one thing that always breaks my heart in the Stormcloak playthrough
Yeah,
is you betray Balgruuf, but at the same time, like I love that aspect of I'm the leader of the companions and I'm like putting one of my bloodkin, like one of my blade brothers, one of my shield brothers, like into that position. I think it sort of makes it worth it from a role playing
wow,
perspective. You know what I mean?
wow.
As a
How
Nord
dare
companion,
you? How
it
dare
makes
you?
sense though. Like you're putting
Yeah,
you're
I
putting one
know,
of your
I know,
shield brothers, right? Like it's
I
sort of
know,
like
I know. It
Skull and
makes
Bones at
sense.
that stage. You know what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah, but this is what makes Skyrim good, which is part of the reason I'm not the biggest fan of Oblivion, because I think Oblivion went too far in the mystical sense. Like, the threat in Oblivion is just so big that you can't comprehend it. It's literally the doors of hell opening up. It's
yeah.
Skyrim Doom. Okay.
And I really don't like that you're kind of the protagonist, but you're not really. It's Martin Septim. He's the
Yeah,
protagonist of the story.
the last king of the Septim
Yeah, the Septim
bloodline.
dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah. And like your whole understanding is, I'm gonna help him become a fucking giant dragon and kill Menu's dragon.
I'm gonna turn him into Akatosh to slay
Yeah.
Meru's Dagon. Yeah. Oh, the one thing I really liked about Oblivion though was the Meru's Dagon cult and how you infiltrate them. That was so fun. That was an
The thing
experience.
is, though, a lot of stuff that Oblivion did great was like the Dark Brotherhood was much better in
Oh,
Oblivion.
dude, the Thieves Guild as well was so good.
Yeah. The Thieves Guild in Skyrim is just, I'm sorry, it's a joke. It's a fucking
It's
joke.
not the Thieves Guild. It's the Nightingale. That's what that is. That's a Nightingale quest. That's not the Thieves Guild quest.
Yeah.
There's no real Thieves Guild quest in it, but
Yeah.
I like the parallels with Riften and how they really like their influence in Riften and stuff and how
Yeah.
but like that's where I kind of like I don't like how they really gimped the Thieves Guild with the Nightingale. They should have made the Nightingale its own thing.
Yeah,
quest,
but they want to have that shock that Mercer Fry is a traitor. Ooh. And for me, who have no idea who the fuck is Gray? Oh my god, who's the guy?
Nocturnal? Or
No.
I thought you were talking about the Daedra.
No, Grey Wolf. Was it Grey Wolf, the guy that was the big fan of what the fuck was Mercer Fry has a bust of him.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that turns into you because that's not a person; that's a persona, right? That's like because he turned out to be the Count of a Whole, didn't he? That was missing, and then you don the Grey Mask, is it? The Grey Fox. The Grey Fox.
Grey Fox. Yeah, Grey Fox.
Dude, the Grey Fox was so cool. How you could like put on the mask and go in a massacre and then take it off, and like you don't have a bounty because like they forget about you. Then like it's
but here's the problem. Grey Fox was like a huge deal in Oblivion, but I didn't play Oblivion.
Oh, so you couldn't appreciate it?
Yeah, it was like when I was first playing Skyrim, it was like, okay, what the fuck? I really hate when games sequels become this self-referential. Like it's okay when you have tiny things that make you go, oh, I kind of know that. Like the Talvani guy. Even when I hadn't played Morrowind, I had an understanding of who he was. I didn't know what a monster he was, but he had an understanding of who he was. Or when in Dragonborn DLC, you go to the what is the name of the Solstein?
Oh yeah, and you see like the Nords that live there and stuff. The skull.
Yeah, and the aftermath of the volcano, the red. Red Dawn, was it?
The Red Mountain.
Red Mountain, yeah. Like the aftermath of the Red Mountain erupting, and it's such a like great thing. If you play Morrowind, that will become like a huge moment. But even if you haven't played Morrowind, there is enough story bits there to make it like worth your time. The fact that you are playing against a Dragonborn, the first one. So there is enough there for you. But in stuff like the Thieves Guild quest, I mean, what the fuck? I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was just, Mercer Fry is apparently a traitor. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like I didn't really like. I didn't like that. And like another thing is like another interesting thing to bring up there is like how like that's like the Daedric Prince Nocturnal. Like
I know about him.
Yes, so like how like you can like basically become like the champion of like almost every Daedric prince in the game, right? You can get like Meru's Razor, you can get the Mask of I don't know what's his name, but you know who I'm talking about, right? And,
I know.
You get the Ebony Mail,
Moloch balls, mace.
Yeah, you can get like all these things, right? And you can like become a werewolf, become a slave to Hircine, you can become a vampire. Like you know how like when you die, like you're supposed to have your soul claimed by the Daedra that you were a champion for.
Yeah,
who claims your soul when you're Dragonborn and you die and you've done all this? Is it Mary's Dagon? Is it Moloch Ball? Is it Nocturnal?
There's a theory. Is that you basically become like the first Dragonborn. The weird tentacle monster.
Oh yeah, I get you.
I don't remember his name.
I know Hermaeus Mora.
Hermaeus Mora, yeah. I was going to say it was something Lovecraftian in the name.
They did a good job with Hermaeus Mora. In Skyrim.
I think that's the end. Like at the end, you become his basically slave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I realized Amir has been very quiet. It's literally.
Oh, he's on mute, so he's probably.
No, I was. Well, first of all, the reason I've been mute, as I said at the beginning of the episode, is that I really don't have anything to add. I'm actually learning myself. I feel like Joe Rogan when he doesn't know anything about the subject that the guest is talking about, and all the time the best thing he can come up with is like, "Oh wow, oh really?" So I was doing
DMT?
That. Yeah, exactly. And
are you gonna be anti-vaxxer now?
No, I'm not gonna be like a soft right, semi-retarded host. But I was just like making that allegory because
wait a second, soft right?
Yeah, I think he's hiding his power level, to be honest, Joe Rogan.
I do too. But like on the podcast, he's soft right. But I think internally, like behind closed doors, he's far more to the right. But anyways, we're not talking about the politics of Joe Rogan. I was just gonna say, that like I'm actually enjoying this, and I didn't really want to take any time away from the good content with my presence. So I'm here, but I really don't have anything to add. You know,
you're here. You're queer. Get used to it.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
Anyways, so you've played Skyrim, you said. I want to say, did you ever get into the Civil War at all?
As I said, this is, I think I was in my second grade of high school, and this is the year that I was playing a lot of other games on the side, and I was just like, I remember distinctly that it took me like a year to finish it. So, story-wise, don't ask me anything. Specifically because it was at a time that it was mostly into the gameplay mechanics, because I had started having ambitions for making video games. So I was like trying to understand how they make the world and how the mechanics of it work and how the physics operate. So in those regards,
still, think about getting into game dev,
well, not as much.
Project?
Yeah, I did try it like a few years ago, but then I realized that I would have to invest a lot of time and money into it.
I'm gonna make Amy make a game. Don't worry about it, dear listeners. Every other week, I go to Amy and Amy, I have an idea for a video game.
I will pursue it because at the time, every time I have tried this, I've tried my hand at this for 3 times, I think. But they say the third time's the charm, but I think the 4th time is going to be the charm for me. I will get back to it. But
the problem has always been you didn't have a good storyteller by your side.
Definitely, but the other problem was that the third time that I tried to make a video game, it was with Unity, which Unity is one of those engines that's you're gonna have a love-hate relationship with it. But I think for me, the hatred part is the bigger part. So I think the next time that I'm gonna try my hand with this thing, it's not gonna be with Unity. And then
I'm with you. Fuck Unity.
You know, but the problem is that we don't really have that many engines for us people that don't have any money or experience. So it's either Unity,
not a lot of open source.
Yeah. So either Unity, which is the best choice in the sense that it has the biggest community, you can find the most of the answers for your problems and the best tutorials, a whole range of them. Other than that, it's I don't know, Unreal Engine. But then again, I think the community is not as big as it is for Unity. So
I mean,
Mm.
let's make our own engine.
Yeah, I think you've had a lot too much sugary sodas, my friend. But let's get back to Skyrim. So the
Okay,
thing that I do want to talk about is that
just a quick thing though. Playing, you
Mhm.
said you were playing for mechanics and all of that.
No, I wasn't playing for that. I'm saying I paid a lot of attention to them, like
Yeah, because
disproportionately more attention.
playing
And
Skyrim for gameplay mechanics.
exactly, I was gonna say,
Not great.
no,
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I was like, because I was playing FPS games, I was playing third-person shooters, I was playing like cover-based shooters, and like I was trying to see what like distinguishes each and every one of them, like what sets them apart. And like it's been interesting to me how it's like a bane to every RPG game, given how big the worlds are, how vast everything is. And like the element of jank, even to this day, like even in Witcher 3, which is like a relatively recent game, like these games are extremely jank, and you have to have a decade of modders fixing everything on top of the developer themselves to have the game not be as jank as it used to be. And I think it's a curse that like it's unavoidable given how vast these games are.
Yes and no, to be honest. Now I don't know how many. I do know you're not the biggest fan of RPGs in general. Like,
As I said, I think the reason is that when I started, like I've been a gamer since I was like 3. And before the age of, I would say 16, I didn't really have the necessary tools, the biggest one of them being command of English. Like before that, like
yeah,
I wouldn't really make anything out of those games. And also like I've always been this kind of ADHD-esque kind of guy in the sense that like a lot of RPGs, especially when I was younger, you have to have a sense of patience, like try to learn the game, try to understand what's going on, like both story-wise and mechanic-wise, and like how to deal with this specific type of enemy, what to do with this. And as a kid, I wasn't really like into that. I was into fast-paced action video games that like didn't have
I
much
get you.
thinking but just doing things, like putting my reflexes to the test. So for
I'm
me
with
to
you.
say
I'm with
I
you.
haven't been a big fan of RPG games, it's not true. It's just that I really couldn't enjoy them. But I think now that I'm revisiting a lot of older titles that I should have but couldn't back in the day, like the next project that I'm gonna like truly immerse myself in is Metal Gear Solid, because that's one of the other series that I couldn't play as a kid. It was a
That's
bit.
RPG though.
No, I
It's
know, but
no.
no, it
I'm
is an
just saying
RPG.
that. I'm just saying that like in proportion. Many of the games you've played, you can't become a fan of RPGs. I'm just saying at the moment you're not the biggest fan of them.
Yeah, like I still can't say that RPGs are like in one sense they are the definition of video games to me, in the sense
Yeah.
of wandering around, in the sense of getting lost in truly like unknown terrains, like in this sense of complete awe and like utter and I don't know,
Basically role
not
playing.
knowing. Yeah. Like I love that aspect. Like that's half of what makes video games therapeutic to me. So in that sense, nothing even comes close to RPG games, and I've always appreciated that. But in
Well,
the other
I
sense, it's like it's the patience and the learning
yeah.
curve that each one of them has, and that's the part that I lacked as a kid. But I think nowadays I'm gonna gradually like it's gonna grow bigger and bigger on me. Is what I'm trying to say.
Nice. I do agree with you that it is like a huge time investment. Like when you get into a RPG series, you're in it for a long time. Like one of the reasons I cannot get into Gothic yet is because Gothic 2, by some estimates, is like 300 hours of content if you want to have a full
Yeah.
experience. And it's like,
Ooh.
yeah, fuck you.
Even
this
like,
is
go on.
no, I was going to say this is just Gothic 2, like not even considering Gothic 1
The
and Gothic
series.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was gonna say, like, even Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is like not an RPG game, like a traditional RPG game. Like, it's the most RPG Zelda game, but it's still not like Skyrim RPG. And even that, I think, like, I spent 200 hours on it, and I didn't even completely finish it. Like, I think there's another 100 hours in it. So every RPG game is like you have to invest a lot of time. And as you grow older, like, that's the other problem. Like, I now have the patience and the knowledge and the skills to enjoy these games, but I don't have the time to do that. And that's like the tragedy of it for me.
Understand. I understand. I mean, let's make an RPG.
Oh my god! Like, when you say Amir, it's one of those moments where, like, your girlfriend, like, calls you by your full name, and you know you're in a pull of shit, and then you're like, Amir. It's like a pipe dreamish after your snort of cocaine kind of planning.
Yeah, but I don't drink cocaine. I don't snort cocaine. I said I don't drink cocaine.
Drink. I was like, I think you're confusing Coke as in Coca-Cola with cocaine.
I do drink a lot of Coke.
Yeah,
which used to have cocaine in it. Did you know that?
Yeah. Like, literally the name comes from that.
Yeah. So, like, just as a thought experiment, because Skyrim is not a very good gameplay game. Neither of Elder Scrolls games are, in my opinion. Like, gameplay is.
I think it actually is. That's the thing that I was sorry to cut you off, but
No.
I think, honestly, putting RPG games on the same yardstick as, like, FPS games and other games is not fair, because they really don't have to have great physics or even great AI to a certain degree, in the sense that, like, most of their time and effort and energy has to be put in balanced leveling, in creating good races, in creation of random events. So I think we shouldn't really pit them against other genres, let's say.
No. I'm not putting it against other genres. I'm putting it against other RPGs like Witcher, okay, this is very unfair.
Okay, but put it against other first-person RPGs, though.
Skyrim isn't a first-person RPG.
Skyrim is.
You can press F and it will become third person.
I actually
know,
quite like playing third
like,
person. Look.
Yeah, I know, but, like, it was made not just Skyrim. Like, the entire series was kind of, like, built around FPS. You know what I mean? So.
Well, yeah, like, let's not be disingenuous. Ali, like, most people do play first person. I think that is the vision.
I'm just saying that. Okay,
especially when we look at, like, the original games, like when we look at, like, Arena Daggerfall, like its roots definitely are in first person.
Yeah, that's like. Look, it's been built like even the world. When you played, like, that's why I never played Skyrim in third person, because I know when a video game was not built for third person. Like the GTA 5, it's not built you get the option.
Playing first person, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, there's something off, and the Elder Scrolls series has always been like that. Like, I know that it's made for first person, and, like, everything becomes even jankier when you play it in third person.
Yeah, like, your attacks are actually slower in third person, by the way. At least one-handed normal attacks. I'm such a nerd. Why do I know that? Why do I know that, like,
no, it's completely understandable, because you see the full animation.
Don't beat yourself, dude. Like, this is a nerd-free, like, shame-free zone. Like, this is where we nerd on in full capacity. So, yeah.
But just as a thought experiment, I mean, I'm gonna tell you the full two sides of the Civil War, and JD will probably correct me because I'm gonna be very mean spirited to one side of it, and you tell me which side would you be on.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Yeah. Go on.
Okay. In Skyrim, when you get to the story, there is two sides. Basically, there is a civil war going on. One
Okay,
side
that
of
much
it.
I do know. Just give me the details and rundown of the detail.
Okay. The Stormcloaks believe that Skyrim, the country of Skyrim, belongs to the race of Nords. They are racist against Dunmer, which is Dark Elves, and Argonian and Khajiit. To be honest, everyone is racist against Khajiit, so we don't care about them.
I think it is a bit more passive aggressive than that. Like I think it's I don't think that sort of blatant racism is inherent to being a Stormcloak, but I do think most Stormcloaks are like that. You know what
I mean, it is in their mission statement. Like part of the reason they want Skyrim for the Nords is to basically.
Is it like a reaction to having been subjugated?
Do they really want an ethno state, or do they want? That's like the one thing I don't think they want to achieve an ethno state. I think it's more so the sort of like Brexit. I think it's a lot more like Brexit's like sort of nationalist sentiment as opposed to Nazi Germany's. You know
probably, but I feel like even in Brexit, people like Nigel Farage, they definitely want a ethno state.
I mean, yeah, that is what they want, but pragmatically speaking, that's not what they are.
I agree, but I think Ulfric and people like Ulfric really do want ethno state. They do mean Skyrim for the Nords as Skyrim is for the Nords.
Yeah.
And I mean, you said, is it a reaction? It is a reaction. Before this civil war, there was another war between elves and humans, in which humans' empire in Cyrodiil, it lost, and it lost bad.
This is giving me World War I vibes.
Oh yeah, sort of. They lost bad.
I think it's like the fall of the empire is like sort of what we're seeing now with America. You know what I mean? And how there's a new sort of empire on the rise. You know, you have China and like how obviously there wasn't like a war or anything, but I think like in terms of like how America's losing its influence internationally, how China's gaining influence. I think that there's like really interesting parallel there. Sorry to change topic.
No.
I
completely agree with you.
These
I don't think it was
actually making it more understandable to average viewer, average listener. Actually, yeah.
Or if you're viewing it on YouTube, I mean, while you're viewing it,
if you're viewing a text and like a picture, you really gotta check your mental health.
Yeah. So, part of the reason this whole thing happened is because after that war where Empire lost, the elves issued a command basically that you cannot worship Talos. Talos was a king. He was the first Tiber Septim, right?
Yeah, he was the first empire of the Septim dynasty.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing: it's speculated that Talos is multiple people, like Tiber Septim is multiple people. He's a Breton aristocrat. But like, there's also another person that used the persona. Sort of like, St. Patrick, actually, great example. St. Patrick wasn't one person; he was multiple missionaries. What were they called? Like Roman Britain
is what you're
like it was an alias, right? That's like what Tiber Septim was, right? He was Breton aristocrat, ironic, half elf essentially, aristocrat. A Nord
he was
warrior.
A Nord. Yeah, he was, a lot of people think he was Nord.
And an Imperial as well. So there's 3 people that use the alias. So that's really interesting though. Like, who achieved godhood? Was it all of them?
The godhood achieving part is also very controversial. A lot of people, again, the elves don't believe that Talos should be a god. So basically, they outlawed the practice of worshipping Talos publicly and officially. Like, you, even privately, if they find out about it, you'll get fucked. But
I get the whole, like, let's say, the whole
religious
feeling.
persecution. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, Ulfric is actually a Talos worshipper.
Like most Nords, they're obsessed with Talos. Like,
yeah,
it's because he's
they
perceived
think
to be a Nord.
He's a Nord, yeah. And like, even to be honest, and fuck anyone who disagrees with me on this, I don't think Talos was that great of a character. I think Ysgramor definitely deserves more than Talos.
Yeah, Ysgramor was a beast, man.
This is giving me like fascist vibes in the sense that like they are trying to reach a glory of the past that really wasn't there to begin with.
You know?
Definitely. Like, dude, you have no idea how close you went with it. And not only do the Stormcloaks have like their own like, how do you say it? I'm gonna just say like a uniform that represents the heritage of Nordic ancestry. They forced the Dunmer in Windhelm to live in a slum, like a literally bad slum. There is a literal serial killer in Windhelm, in their capital, but they don't give a shit.
You know, this is like
another thing. This is like something I completely forgot about because it's briefly mentioned in the game when you talk about, you know, the guy that like replaces Ulfric when you fight for the Empire. I don't know his name. He's sort of forgettable, but he's the one that sticks up for the Dunmer, right? So he tells you about how, like, okay, let's say a Nord village in the Hold gets attacked by bandits. The first thing Ulfric does when he hears about this is he rallies up the troops and he avenges this Nord village. But if it's like Argonians or Dunmer in the Hold that get attacked, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, they're on their own. They don't have the support of the guard or the Stormcloak soldiers at all. They're really on their own.
Yeah. I mean, you want to
sort of reminds me there.
American Kurds.
Yeah, like this kind of reminds me of like in America, sort of the response times for people in white neighborhoods compared to, you know, like POC neighborhoods. Dude, it's like crazy. Like, even like, so like I'm from Ireland, Northern Ireland, right? If you're from like an Irish Catholic like a neighborhood, you're going to be waiting like an hour for a police station that's 5 minutes down the road to respond.
It's like literally systemic racism. I think no other way to put it.
But if you're like a POL community, like, you know, I'm not sectarian, I have no problem with the POL community, but, you know, they definitely have the upper hand in terms of a systemic, in the systemic sense. They get the response in that 5 minute window that it takes to get to their house. So it's like, it's very similar in that sort of sense. There's a lot
that's why I say that Ulfric himself would love to have Skyrim as a whole to be an ethno state.
If he could, if he didn't need these people,
Exactly. Like, the problem he has with Forsworn is even more idiotic, because even if you want to go by like,
he murdered the children.
Yeah,
like you know, he murdered the younglings. Like, what's that?
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, he went full Anakin Skywalker mode. It was because his whole thing was, even the Nord children. It was like, if you were in Markarth, a child, a woman, elderly, whoever you were, if you did not pick up an axe and kick out the Forsworn out of Markarth, you were executed. Like, when they were kicked out.
And it's kind of funny when you said about the former glory, because Forsworn are the former glory of Skyrim.
Yeah, well, not all of Skyrim, like the Reach, right? Because the Reach is like the Reach is like
very old.
It's like another parallel is the arbitrary lines that are drawn for countries. So like, see, like the Reach, sort of the Markarth region, it's half of a nation of people, really. So you have the because what you have to realize is the Reachmen, they're not Bretons, actually. They're their own sort of separate ethnic group of people, more similar to Bretons out of anyone, right? But I think they're more human than Bretons. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But half of the Reach is actually in High Rock, right?
Oh yeah,
So it's like, see, it's like these arbitrary lines, like sort of like
British people,
like
making...
like. You know, like how like Kurds, right? They you know, like what's perceived to be Kurdistan is like in all these nations you have like Turkey, Syria, Iraq,
Iran,
Iran. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very like the political parallels are like they've really put a lot of thought and time into that world building. It's like
Yeah.
if only they put that much thought and time into the game mechanics as well.
And
But
to be honest, the main fucking story, because the main story in Skyrim and Oblivion are the weakest part of it.
yeah.
Alduin
And
is not a bad villain, but he's a very weak one. And the story you go to get to him is a very boring one. Like, you get to have an Elder Scroll, which is kind of funny. I don't think we had one in Oblivion. Did we?
oh, you steal an Elder Scroll for the Thieves Guild.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean in the main storyline.
Oh yeah, you don't.
Yeah, so in this one, you get to have an Elder Scrolls, which I mean, branding. But
Elder Scrolls have been.
And you actually get two. I think you get another in the Dawnguard DLC.
Oh, if you get the DLCs, you get more than two. You get a couple.
Yeah. You get a few. Yeah, it's been so.
Yeah.
I only played Dawnguard once. I don't know.
Dawnguard is
not a
Dawnguard,
fan. Not a big fan of Dawnguard, to be honest. Like
me neither. Like, I like the idea. Dawnguard introduces vampires, which are my favorite monsters.
Well, vampires were there, but they really gave them the depth that they deserved.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Ami, I don't know. I don't think you've played Dawnguard.
No, I haven't. I only played the OG.
You can literally do this. You can't block out the sun.
You can like block out the sun and like become like
vampire,
you know, like
monster
vampire veil.
Yeah, so like you can like make it so the vampires can like walk around at day and like, you know. But like one thing is though, it's like it's kind of lore breaking. It lasts like a couple fucking minutes. Like it doesn't even like it's not even permanent. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be a permanent thing, but I don't know.
That's part of the issue with Skyrim as like a whole. I think as a game, which is something we talked about in our last episode, which was about Seinfeld, I talked about how in sitcoms, characters cannot change because sitcoms are syndicated and they need to be able to be run out of order and still make sense. This is the problem for Skyrim as well. You can't have meaningful changes in the world because if you do, some other quest might find issues. Like the biggest you have is the Jarl's change or the guards walking around changes. And basically it's just cosmetic changes.
I think that's been true for like not just in one game, but like in the entire series of Skyrim. I mean, like let's say the last 3 ones that actually matter the most. And I think it's kind of intentional in the sense that like when you make a world this big, and when the players get the right to like make decisions and like they can go different paths, continuity becomes a problem, you know, like because each player has had their own experience, their own world. So I think it is a problem, but I don't blame them. Like, how do you resolve this problem? Like, there aren't many things you could do.
Actually, funny you should mention that because another game actually fixed that for them. And that game is Fallout New Vegas. And the answer is very counterintuitive, I agree. It's just that you block some places off. Basically, if you do this, you won't get to play a whole chunk of our game.
Well, yeah. Or you could introduce like saves, universal saves, or at least ask the player what they've done in a Mass Effect Witcher sense. But still,
I don't mean I don't, dude. I don't.
No,
mean,
I got what you mean. Yeah, I did get what you mean. Like you said, like literally block off certain parts. Like that is one solution to the problem. I'm just saying that like that would take away a lot of content from a game. So I think a bit of inconsistency, a bit of myth.
That's not bad. That's the thing. I do understand it's a whole other design philosophy than what Bethesda wants to do.
I think it's a good idea for a mod, you know, like an experience. of
Well,
many that you could have.
to be
Out of
honest,
many that you could have.
let me tell it to you this way. In Fallout New Vegas, if you go with the Caesar's Legion, you cannot go with the NCR.
Hey, then this does make sense. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, blocking off entire regions, I don't know, too much, I think.
Well, the next time,
I think I don't know. I disagree. I think that increases replayability.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it really makes you stick to your guns as well. It really makes you like think about what you want to do, because one thing I thought was very immersion breaking about vanilla Morrowind was you could be in the Telvanni and the Mage's Guild at the same time, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And like, for example, in Skyrim, one of the biggest things in Markarth, because I do remember that quest very clearly, because I think it was a great quest. You go to the Forsworn leader.
The guy,
that
was a great quest. I fucking love that quest.
And you get to either kill him or let him go free.
Or break out with him. Like it's
or break out with him.
That was an experience. That was such a great
but,
chef's kiss. If anyone like that's like one of the best side quests I've ever played in a video game ever. I'd say it's top 3 really.
Yeah.
It's unreal the way like you're investigating like all the drama going into town with like Talos worship and the parallels with the Forsworn and the Nords and the Silverbloods, and they see you snooping around and they frame you and they put you in prison, and then you're really at a crossroads. Okay, do I mind my own business? Do I just kill this guy and leave? Or shit, he really has a point. You know what I mean? Or do you get radicalized? It's like when you meet Ted Kaczynski in prison, do you become on-prim, or do you or do you take the blue pill?
But here's the problem. It is a great side quest. It feels like it should have great repercussions to the region.
There's really very, to be honest, right? I think that quest, like, exactly. You should have had way more repercussions. But I'm not sure if there should have been more to it. Like, imagine an independent reach. Like, if you could have achieved that, that would have been unreal. Taking back Markarth.
And I would agree, it would fuck up 7 other quests and 17 other mini quests.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm sorry. Let fuck it up.
It's like that quest is really catered towards sneak builds, right? It's really because it's like what you're doing. You're sneak around Markarth and you get caught, right? You it should have the same where you're not able to go back to Markarth without wait, I know you. You're that Forsworn terrorist.
Yeah, exactly.
You're off the mines.
Okay, in that sense, I do agree with you. Not letting you do certain.
You're literally
quests.
you guys might not know. You're literally it's imagine being like Belfast, for example, in Northern Ireland, right? And being a part of joining the IRA and stuff and going to the Maze prison and breaking out because that's what happened. Actually, that's sort of a great parallel right there is the Maze prison breakout, sort of with that breakout prison in Markarth, because it's a native population, being oppressed, their path towards radicalization and how they break out of the most secure prison in the region. That's a great movie, by the way. It's on Netflix. Maze, great actors in it as well. It's about IRA prisoners breaking out of this most secure prison in Europe. Really interesting. A true story, obviously, but it should have had way more repercussions. What? Imagine see the guy that broke the IRA out of Maze, dude, if he went into Belfast, it was on site with the RUC, the police. You know what I mean? It would have been on site.
Exactly.
Wait, I know you. You know, it should have been like that with Markarth. I know you get a bounty, right, for the people you kill, but you can just pay the fine and you're fine. Dude, what? What happened to killing every woman and child that didn't help kick out the Forsworn? What's going on? They'll kill children that don't take up an axe and kill Briarheart like terrorist mages.
Yeah, it's
but
like if Osama bin Laden paid like $7 million to U.S. government, and then
yeah,
it
it's
was okay.
like Osama bin Laden's like, okay, I'm going to New York, guys. Here's $2 million. I got it from my friends in Saudi.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When you put it that way, yeah.
It's immersion breaking.
It's
and
so immersion breaking, yeah.
yeah, and
like
at
another
some
immersion
point,
breaking thing, like sorry to cut off you, Ali.
no, it's
Why
okay.
are you able to wear a full Imperial attire and bump into the Stormcloaks in the wilderness and they don't care?
Yeah,
Why are you
yeah,
able to? Now, one thing
yeah,
that was cool was if you wore a Talos amulet and the Thalmorsina, they'd be like, "Oh, you filthy little Nord, you're wearing a Talos thing.
yeah.
You're off the Northwatch you go, bitch. We're taking you." Um,
You need
that was
more
one
stuff
thing.
like that. Like
They
one
should
of
have
the
done that
games.
with the uniforms. 100%.
Yeah, like one of the things that like Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines did amazingly was the clothing mechanic, and you need that. Like I don't know why. A lot of RPG games, I do understand it's a lot of work for them, but
Not
you're not.
really, though. Like, it's not that much work. Like, it's definitely
No,
doable.
What
I
they've
mean,
already put into it, like it's not all that much more to make it so it's illegal to wear a certain item in a certain hole.
I know. It's
It's a
like that
few
they
lines of
want,
code, really. I don't know.
like, Bethesda's design philosophy is just that.
I think no, like do you know what it is the problem with Bethesda? They're so obsessed with that, like the Nerf gun release dates. I don't think you guys might not know, like being millennials from Iran, but like growing up in America as a Zoomer, like the Nerf gun would always come out. The new Nerf gun would always come out like on the 10th of October of 2010, or like you know what I mean. Like every year it'd be
Yeah, I
like
get
that,
what you
right?
mean. Yeah, like,
It's like that with Bethesda. It's the 11th of November 2011, right?
Yeah, 11,
They're
11,
so
11.
obsessed with that, right? They wanted to do it with Starfield this year, right? They wanted to,
yeah.
um,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
actually that's where we're really going to see where Bethesda's going. Uh,
yeah.
is
With
with Starfield.
Starfield,
Yeah,
it's kind of scary. Not gonna lie.
yeah. I'm scared, man. I'm scared.
But the thing is that for like Skyrim, the reason it's my favorite game. Let me reiterate that. Like it's a game that got me into RPGs. I love playing it. I love going back to it. I love being in that world. Like one of my playthroughs in Skyrim is basically me not doing any quest, getting married to Ysolda, adopting 2 kids, and become a farmer.
Yeah, man, like you can do
Mm.
that. Like I seen see, dude, like really, like I really recommend it. Amir, look into the
Mhm.
Wildlander, and Ollie, right? Especially you, Ollie, after you said that, right?
Yeah,
Wildlander, mod list. Look into that, man, because you could like do a playthrough being like seriously, you could be like a merchant, like an Imperial merchant, sort of like that guy in Riverwood, and
yeah,
your whole thing is you don't have any battle skills. You just like you have alchemy to make money, you have like smithing to make money, and you have like really good bartering skills, but like all your combat is like hiring followers with this like vast wealth that you're making. And I've seen someone like do
yeah.
this, like seriously look up Wildlander. There's a merchant playthrough on there, dude. Like you like it seems mundane and boring, but dude, like it seems so fun to me doing like, like really like ignoring the game and just just completely focusing on minor mechanics, like becoming a merchant or a farmer. Like it's like
And
you're
that's the
really a
thing.
part of that. Just really shows you're part of a living world. You know what I mean? Especially in that
Exactly,
Wildlander mod list.
exactly.
If you thought you were a part of a living, breathing world before, you ain't seen shit yet, man. Like look into that mod list.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I'm
serious.
completely with you. And that's the problem with Skyrim. It's just that the mods are making it a better game and ultimately kind of making you realize, well, the vanilla wasn't that good, was it?
Yeah, because like that one thing was you were able to go straight into Bleakfall's Barrow, and then all of a sudden you're able to shout like, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, but like see like Wildlander, dude, I'm level 14, and I'm not even thinking about going to Bleak Falls Barrow yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you really, this mod pack, it really it forces you to become a part of the world before you become Dragonborn. Sort of like how Morrowind made you become a part of the world and immerse yourself in the living and breathing world before you became the Nerevar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. And you see, that's the biggest problem with Elder Scrolls as an RPG series. Hopefully, thankfully, we have a great modding community that are willing to do all of the stuff that Bethesda itself are not doing. But this is gonna sound very mean. I'm kind of hoping for Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda doesn't make it. It's Obsidian that has to make it.
Yeah, man, like New
Uh,
Vegas.
Yeah, and then Todd Howard has to come out and sell the game that he didn't make.
But it is Bethesda that's making it.
Yeah.
and it has been
Yeah.
Bethesda for I think more than 5 or 6 years. Before we go on, we're like 5 minutes away from the 2-hour mark, which
I
is
think
like
we need
but
to,
that
yeah.
flew by. That was good. That that's time flies when you're having fun.
Well,
sure.
I guess I
But no,
don't
I'm
think
just
there
saying
is.
that like if there's anything important that you think you should mention, because I think like more than 2 hours is like the line that like
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
divides
that'd
Yeah.
probably
the
be
listener.
jarred to listen to. It's probably
Yeah,
it's probably fun for us to go on and on for longer. But
yeah. We could like
yeah,
talk for 10 hours or even more, but
yeah,
like we should keep listeners in mind.
yeah. We should really
Yeah.
land the plane now. Yeah, I feel.
Well, I don't think there is anything. We talked about Arena and Daggerfall. We talked about Morrowind in depth. We talked about Skyrim in much more depth. I think we talked about modders and a great modding community. We talked about Oblivion. We talked about problems with Skyrim. We talked about the politics of Skyrim. So I guess with that, JD, do you have anything you want to plug for our listeners to go to?
Oh yeah, definitely, like I said, like Wildlander mod list.
No. Your own stuff.
By yourself, like about yourself.
Oh, about myself. Okay.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Like if you have a channel or like a I don't know, a
no.
page.
I'm cool, guys. I'm not really. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we will get a list of the mods that JD
Yeah,
mentioned.
JD recommended, and we will put it
Yeah,
below.
I'll put everything
yeah.
I mentioned in the chat, and you guys can,
Yeah, we'll put it on under the post or like the thing that we posted on.
We'll put
on
it in the
every
description.
platform. Yeah,
That's
the
fun.
description or like a post or whatever. And like it's Instagram, YouTube, so there's not one name that we can mention. It's gonna be in the description textually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I don't think there is anything. JD, is there anything else you want to mention before we say our goodbyes?
No. I think we've talked about as much as we really could. Really, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on the podcast. It was fun. It was nice talking to you guys again.
It was actually thank you for like joining us. It was really fun, and like it was obvious that like we were all having fun. But I'm glad that like through your tone, it was obvious that you're having fun as well. So I'm glad that like the atmosphere was good and friendly enough for you to like have fun as well. And we'll definitely do this more often next seasons. And. Come up with new topics that we're all passionate about, So,
yeah, I'd love to be back on again sometime, guys. Like this
sure.
was really
an honor.
All right.
So, with that said, Ami, is there anything you want to mention?
Not really, no.
Well, the only thing I want to mention is just as a last fuck you to Todd Howard, go and watch the It Just Works music video from the Chalk Eaters.
It's just great music. Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Sounds funny.
Oh, it is. And with that said, Ami, do you want to sign us off?
Yeah, sure. So we will see you again unless we die or don't feel like it.
For listening to a shitty podcast. Yet another shitty podcast. We are deeply happy inside, and you don't have anything better to do. Don't waste your time here with us. Yet another shitty podcast. Another shitty podcast.